What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time here on a Saturday afternoon. I am Britt Devine, joined by my normal weekend crew. We've got Tim, we've got TJ. TJ, big in the DFS streets, lots of sports. I know there's a big MMA tonight. TJ, we had a knockout finally in UFC. Do you predict any more knockouts tonight?
I know a lot more about the DFS side of lineup building than I do actually how the games are going to go or how the fights are going to go. But I will say that, we're going to get Diego Lopez knocking out Brian Ortega today.
Yeah, the gloves. We'll have to see how those continue to go.
And Vinicius Oliveira is going to be knocking out Ricky Simone.
All right. And then, Tim, with baseball, we have to worry about the baseball, not gloves. Have they rejuiced the ball? It seems like the warm weather, the hitters have finally started to come around. We're seeing some home runs, some higher scoring games. Finally makes DFS a little bit more fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it helps when it's going to be 95 degrees across the entire nation. So it doesn't matter what you do to the ball. The ball's going to fly when it's 95 degrees out everywhere.
It's like 65 and rainy.
I think it's just summer.
Right.
It's 65 and rainy at my house today, so I don't know what you're talking. I don't like 95. Give me about 75 and partly cloudy. That's mine. But I'm escaping the heat wave today up in central New York. But we'll see. I do like that Baltimore game tonight. I know Weather Edge the weather's so hot, it's so ridiculous, and the wind's blowing out. The Weather Edge only has one game in history to go from it, and it says, hey, there's no increase in home runs here. In fact, there's literally no home run in that particular one game. But I think the ball's going to fly in that game. I've got not a Spidey bomb, but I'll give you a pick I've got up on scores and odds for that game. But before we get to that, we've got this 8-game slate where not so much on FanDuel, but I think they completely mispriced pitching on DraftKings today. Maybe it was on purpose because the cheap bets aren't really there on DraftKings. But Tim, let's throw it to you for cash on FanDuel. And on DraftKings is very easy. You have Aaron Nola, you have Paul Skeens. They're underpriced. You play them on DraftKings for cash games. We'll see how TJ's handling that from the tournament perspective. If you had to pick only one, we have Nola at home, where he's been historically his better self, against Miami and a very weak lineup. It is humid. It is hot. And I think the wind's blowing out in Philadelphia today. We've got Skeens, who has, I think, unmatched upside, except for maybe like a Chris Scale or a Tyler Glass now currently in MLB in terms of strikeout ability. But a little bit of a tougher matchup against Atlanta. Atlanta's bats, even though they're down a few players, are still much better than Miami. There might be Roth has that as a yellow. I brought that up. I was looking at that right before the show. If there's anything, I think it would basically just be a late start. I don't really see too much happening in the game. He still has it yellow. I haven't seen any update. If someone does on that, or if someone sees maybe a delay to start the game, I would appreciate it if you let us know on YouTube. But how are you deciding between these two pitchers on maybe a one-pitcher site today?
Yeah, you're right. FanDuel is a little bit more complicated about what you're going to be doing for cash games or even tournaments. Personally, I'm still going to go with Paul Skeens on FanDuel in my single entry team. I'm not playing cash on FanDuel, but if I were to play cash on FanDuel, I'd still play Paul Skeens. If you want to play Nola, I certainly wouldn't fault anybody if they wanted to play Nola in cash or GPP. It's pretty close between the two, but I'm going to take that for you'd play Nola over Skeens.
No, I would fault them for doing it.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess I wouldn't go that far, but I mean, I really wouldn't. I think Nola's okay, but I really strongly prefer Skeens. So, and then Max Fried. He's a really solid pitcher who's not going to be owned. I really like him for GPPs on both sites, but especially on FanDuel, where he's looking like he's going to be under 10% owned. So if you want to take some shots on Fried for tournaments, I absolutely love that. But I'm not considering anyone else for cash other than Skeens and Nola. But I'm heavily leaning towards Skeens.
Yeah, I was on NOLA earlier in the day, but the lineup that I've put together, I needed the $400 price savings on FanDuel. That was basically the easiest way to do it. Go to Skeens, who has the strikeout ability. Even though Nola's matchup is great, he's a little bit weaker than he has been in past seasons. And on DraftKings, Tim, we're playing both of them, right? Because these guys should be in the 10K or high 9Ks, and they're both in the 8K tier today.
Yeah, pretty really soft pricing by DK today. Pretty disappointed in that. Kind of ruins the slate, in my opinion. But I would say that, of the very chalky combo, Skeens and Nola, they're also going to be chalky in GPPs. So again, Max Fried, he's going to be half the ownership of Fried, so or half the ownership of Skeens, excuse me. So I think he's worthy of a some shots in tournaments. But yeah, it's definitely Skeens, Nola, and Cash.
All right, TJ, why are you so? It seems like you're a little bit more down on Nola compared to Skeens and projections are than the industry as a whole. What do you have against Aaron Nola today compared to Skeens?
I mean, for what it's worth, I think even though he's cheaper, Skeens does have a better raw points projection in both the Roto Grinders projections and the bat. But I am, I'd say, a greater differential than that, like you said. I think he's just a lot better. I think it's simple as that. He's the way better pitcher. This is a dude with a 33.5 strikeout rate, 36.3% against righties, and he's going to get 6 of them in this lineup. Am I reading that right? 5 of them in this lineup. After the top half, it drops off really hard, and these guys strike out at times. So I think Skeens is the much better play just because he's the much better pitcher. Aaron Nola has a 18.7% strikeout rate to lefties this year. Yes, it's higher against righties, and it'll face 5 of them, but it's still only 26% against the righties. Miami has a huge park upgrade going from Miami to Philadelphia. I have 91% Paul Skeens. I have 16% Nola, 17% Fried, and then all my other exposure is going to cheap SP2s.
So who are the cheap SP2s that you're looking at between all those guys? So are you on DraftKings? I'm interested in Savali. Where is he? Because he's 54. He should not be 5,400. He's not the greatest pitcher in the world, but it's against Washington. I mean, he should be what, Tim, 7,000? It's a reasonable price discount from his actual talent level. To me, are you on him or are you on any of the 7K guys, TJ?
I am on him. I agree with you. He should be more expensive. Another guy that I think should be more expensive, even though the matchup is tough, is Tyler Megill. Without looking, just guess off the top of your head. I mean, if you looked earlier today, then never mind. But what do you think Tyler Megill's strikeout rate is this year?
Well, this is a quiz, so it's probably at least 25%.
28.5%. And swing strikes are really good as well. I want to get to some Tyler Megill at $5,900. And then I'm playing in the 7K range. I'm getting a Justin Steele and Jake Irvin as well.
Are you on, two guys who, Tanner Houck, he should be 8,500 and Skeen should be 10.2, right? I think this is where DraftKings messed it up today. Are you on any of the higher priced pitchers other than Skeens or Nola on DraftKings? You mentioned Fried. I'm just going to consider that all the same price tier. These guys should all be at least $1,000 to $1,500 more today. Are you on the Cole Reagans? Are you on a Gallon? Maybe on a somewhat limited pitch count? Are you on Houck? Any of those guys, TJ? Or are you just Xing them out in favor of? It seems like you're real heavy on Skeens.
Yeah, I would not fault anyone whatsoever for including Cole Reagans, Tanner Houck, or even Tanner Bybee in the pool. Just because those guys all do have upside, especially like Bybee, we haven't talked about at that just because the matchup's tough, but 8,700 for him, and he's just been absolutely lights out lately. So I do think he's somewhat interesting for tournaments too, even though I'm not playing him. And Reagans and Houck, I wouldn't fault you for getting there. It's just I'm trying to get so far over the field on Skeens. I got to make cuts somewhere, and my choice is to just not play the super expensive pitchers.
Yeah, BB, looking at the ownership, Tim, just real off the top of my head, is he 6 times as likely to, Skeen's 6 times as likely to outperform him today? I don't think so, right?
No chance.
Yeah, so
No.
that looks like a pretty reasonable ownership swerve. If you aren't 91%, TJ's up in the 38. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it 39 himself, just from being 91% on Skeens today. Tim, is there anyone else you'd want to really talk about today? Like King, if it was anybody but at Boston, I think would be a little interesting. Probably not on them. Their lineup's looking pretty tough. If Galen had a full pitch count, I'm on Arizona pretty heavily today from the scores and odds. I think Keith made it the squad ride today with the run line there. I really like Arizona to bounce back after last night's loss. Reagans is another guy who's not going to get a lot of ownership, but he can strike out 10 even if it's against Cleveland. I think like ownership in tournaments, I'm not doing any tournaments today, and I understand TJ just going all in on Skeens, but I think you can get a little different today and have some reasonably good leverage. I mean, I'm expecting Skeens to have a good
Vlad
game.
just hit a homer? I bet on Vlad to hit a homer. Did he just do it again?
Probably because I bet on the Yankees and then
Vlad Guerrero another homer, baby. Let's go.
Literally
that was the first one in the big set of parlays today.
2 minutes after I bet the Yankees, Soto scratch. So that literally always works against me. I don't think it's ever worked for me where one of the star players on the team I'm betting against gets out or they swap the pitcher out of the team I bet against. It's always like my star pitcher gets scratched. But this is a podcast for another time. I guess, Tim, anybody else you'd want to throw in here? I guess mine looking at the
ownership. I want to say full disclosure quick. I really just don't want to rebuild my 150 lineup, so I'm not going to do it. But I'm throwing in a single entry right now that has Tanner by BB with Paul Skeens.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice ownership swerve with BB today. He if the ownership holds, he looks like a good play. I don't. Fried is another one, but Fried will get some ownership. Anyone else, Tim?
Justin Steele would be the only other guy that I'd mention. I think he's an exceptional pitcher. I think 7,600 is way too low for him. He's another guy that's priced way too softly. I think he's $1,000 too cheap. I know the matchup is not amazing, but it got a little bit better with Ortiz being scratched and Turang hitting leadoff. So I really like Justin Steele today. So he would be the only other guy that I would mention.
All right. TJ, from a tournament perspective for offense, let's flip to the other side now. From my cash games are Philadelphia. I got Arizona against Hogan, and I got a couple, fill-in spots around there. That's basically where I'm looking for offense from my perspective today. What are you doing with those two teams, and then what else are you targeting?
Arizona and Philadelphia are my two top offenses on the slates. I do have they're my two highest owned, and they're my two favorites. Right behind them are the Mets and Washington for me. Valdez hasn't looked like himself. The Mets have been red hot. If you look at their ISOs over the last 30 days, they have 5 players with ISOs over 300 in the last 30 days against left-handed pitching. And so I want to get very heavily overweight on the Mets. I like Washington in tournaments going up against Savali, even though I'm also playing Savali. Boston has a high total and projects pretty well, even though it's Michael King. That one scares me a little bit, but they're also going fairly low owned. So I'm getting a lot of Boston. And then Cleveland is fine. The Cubs are fine. And I actually like going with a little bit of Miami, maybe not as a full stack, maybe as a mini stack, but a little Miami, especially the lefties going up against Nola. Something like a Chisholm, Sanchez, and you pick one more.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had to pick a leverage team off one of the higher owned pitchers, Miami would be that team for you.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll throw that to you too, Tim. If you're probably not in the single entry streets, but if you had to pick one of the main starting pitchers to fail today, maybe not fail, but maybe you're able to get that one-off home run or two guys have a big game off that offense, would it be Miami for you today? I know the bat likes Nola, but it also likes some of the Miami hitters today.
Yeah, I think it would. Yeah, I think it probably would be Nola. Yeah, it would be Miami.
All right. Let's go position by position. Well, actually,
on that note, we have just hit 50 likes, and this does feel like the perfect time to bring it up and to dive into it because we're talking about Miami. Second Spidey Bomb coming at 100 likes. Third one will go 125. Keep smashing the like button, but Spidey Bomb number 1 plus 440 on FanDuel. Jazz Chisholm.
Jazz Chisholm. Let me quadruple check. I've got quite a few home runs from this game, but definitely from the other side. Jazz, I got a 430 on the FanDuel.com as the absolute latest odds on that.
I did want to give out a home run pick that I like quite a bit before it moves on DK because it's a lot smaller on other sites. Pete Alonso plus 500 on DK. I like quite a bit. He's like 380 on FanDuel, so I expect that's going to go.
Tim.
I think that's going to go down.
That's one of my bets today, too.
Can I throw you, for those in the fanatic streets like I am, a 550, Tim? How does that sound?
Oh, wow. Nice. I did not even.
That's what I got today, too, on my little Saskatchewan sportsbook.
All right. So I'll follow both of you guys on that one. Mine, it's in the later game. I got Westberg against Lorenzen as mine. I think you can get that around somewhere in the 500s to a 600 if you shop around on that one. It's not on this slate, but definitely like the right-handed power bats against Lorenzen today. And the heat, humidity, the wind, everything plays into Westberg there.
I just want to shout out the weekend crew that watches the weekend crunch time stuff, because I'm not even this isn't a shot at any of the hosts, because not Dean, not Roth. I've done both of those spots.
You can make fun of Dean. You can make fun.
I do all the time. I do all the time, and so I want to be fully candid here. This isn't a shot at him. This is just a straight shout out to the weekend watchers, because it is hard during the week to get people to hit the like button. There'll be 700 plus people watching, and it's 75, 80 likes, and then by the time you get to the end of crunch time, it'll be like 150. And there's so many people watching, and it's like a 200 and it's like a 2-hour plus show. But the weekend crew, they just come in before. I went to make the event on Roto Grinders today for producing, and so I had to go and get the YouTube link, copy and paste it. There was already 7 likes on YouTube, and it was 35 minutes before the show. People just came in, they have the link up, they hit the like button, and now they're smashing the like button again here today as well. And so we're already almost at 100. We just cleared it. We just cleared it for Spidey Bomb number 2 at 100. I got a third one at 125. And look, I got lots of bets today. So you guys keep hitting the like button. We'll keep getting more home runs. We'll say one every 25 likes here on out from now on. Spidey Bomb number 2 today is where did he go? Jazz Chisholm was number 1, and number 2, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. plus 630 over on FanDuel today.
All right, so I have him. He's someone I was eyeing in DFS today. I forgot to check his home run odds. So you got a 6. Latest is a 600 on FanDuel currently right now, if anyone's looking for the best odds. Well, I should say in New York, maybe elsewhere there are better, because my odds screen is set to New York. So you could, of the books available in New York, FanDuel would be the best. That's how I'm doing it. I don't have my odds screen would be enormous if I had everything on there, but FanDuel is a plus 600 right now. All right, if you want, TJ had a nice spiel there. If you want access to everything TJ does from Roto Grinders Premium, there's never a better time to sign up. You can get not NBA, that's over. There's PGA, there's MMA, there's MLB, there's WNBA, whatever you want. You can get a 6-month combo sub for $470. That's a savings of $250 instead of buying 6 individual months. If you're a first-time user, you can get your first month of Roto Grinders Premium for $40 off. If you want to test it out for 3 days, it's $20. Check it out, rotogrinders.com. All right, let's go bats position by position. Probably not a catcher day on FanDuel. Tim, what are you doing on DraftKings? I'm basically just home run searching. I don't have a lot of money for the catcher position today. I want some of the other bats. I'm in the Francisco Alvarez, Langoliers, probably not Langoliers. I like Gallon quite a bit today. But I'm basically home run hunting for cheap today. Alvarez sort of fits that bill for me against Framber.
Yeah, I think for cash games, you're going Alvarez. I think you could also go Yanner Diaz at 4,200. And then if you wanted to go all the way down, you could go to Garrett Stubbs at 2,800. Those would be my 3 guys on my short list for cash games. Yeah, I agree with you on FanDuel. I'm not going to be rostering a catcher. Although William Contreras is a decent play, I think at 3,100. but definitely I don't think he's cashing viable. There's far too many better first base plays than catcher.
Yeah, I would agree completely. TJ, you typically just stacks at catcher, but anyone specifically you're trying to hunt a home run from?
Alvarez is going to be my favorite one-off today as well. Maybe a David Fry one-off, maybe a Shea Langelier one-off, but outside of that, only in stacks. Maybe even Yainer Diaz is a one-off or part of the mini stack.
All right, let's go to first base. Tim, I'll go to you. I'm on Christian Walker both sites, and I don't really want to. I guess on DraftKings, I'm not finding anyone I really want to roster for cheap today. I mean, you always have your Dominic Smith for cheap. It's just not a position. You've got a Jake Berger if you want to play the weather, but I still like Nola a little bit here. Hoskins at 4,000 is about basically the minimum of where I'd spend on DraftKings. And if I'm going to spend that, I'm just going to take Christian Walker against Hogan, Hogan has a nice ERA, but I mean, his underlying stuff is absolutely horrific. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets torched today with how bad some of his underlying metrics are today. So I'm on Walker, I'm on Arizona, I'm on Philadelphia. It's going to be a theme for me as the show progresses.
Yeah, definitely. Walker is the top first base play on both sites. I have no issue with that at all. I don't mind maybe some I think you could go Rhys Hoskins, definitely. I think Michael Busch and Yandy Diaz are certainly viable in cash as well if you don't quite have the money for Walker. I agree with you, Brett. Like, I'm very, very high on Arizona. I don't think they're like absolute musts, though. So if you kind of like can't quite get up to these guys like Walker, like Marte, I don't think you have to play them in cash. So, but I do agree with you. Walker is definitely the top play.
DJ, they're coming for the likes. They keep smashing it. Let's get another home run play. Could it be a first baseman?
It is not, but it's already scrolling at the bottom. It's Seiya Suzuki for plus 350 on FanDuel. Is Spidey Bomb number 3. We'll get the fourth one at 150 likes. But I love Pete Alonso today so much. If Tim hadn't taken him as a tater, he for sure would have been a Spidey Bomb too. He's my highest owned first baseman in tournaments today. I have 21%. JD Martinez, I got a ton of too. You can play him at first. I actually also have a ton of, let's see if I can get this right. Junkenzie Noel.
He's the 2K player on DraftKings today.
Yeah, 2K player on DraftKings for Cleveland. I got a lot of him as well. Walker, and then just guys in stacks.
Yeah, there's not a lot of cheap bats on DraftKings that I think are reasonable bets. He's one of them. I think maybe this is why they gave us the discount at starting pitching today, Tim, because there's not a lot of 2 to 3K bats that are very interesting to me. So I don't know if they planned it that way, but
yeah, I know it's gross, but I mean, I'm playing John Singleton in single entry. I'm not, obviously can't play him in cash, but you know, I'm looking to stack Houston in single entry, so I'm playing Singleton.
All right, what about at second base, Tim? What are we doing for that position today? You've got Ketel Marte is attainable on FanDuel if you want to do that. You've got Bryson Stott, who's second base / shortstop, eligible on FanDuel. He's second base on DraftKings, 4,800, probably around about the max I'd pay for him, I think. But I'd like to have Schwarber and Harper in the lineup, but it's still just a really good spot against the Miami starter bullpen. I'm looking for them to come out strong today.
Yeah, I'm seriously concerned about this Phillies lineup. So I don't know if I'm going to play Bryson Stott at 4,800. I'd much rather play Ketel Marte on both sites. I think it's Marte's by far the superior play. Like, I know projections don't really agree with me at all, but I mean, I think this Phillies lineup is pretty bad. So
the weather is 100% playing into some of the projections here today.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. But I mean, like, it's still like they're not. I don't know. They're not like priced down enough. Like, so I don't know. It's just not a team I'm that excited. I like Brandon Lau too quite a bit on both sites. I think he makes for a really good pivot off of both Marte and Stott. And then obviously I'm high on Houston, so I think Jose Altuve is a really strong play as well.
What about you, TJ? What are you doing?
Ketel Marte, getting an absolute ton of him today. And then after that, it's just I'm looking for the most part save salary Like I do have some Stott, I do have some Clemens, but and then I like Nico Horner, but I'm even getting like Valdez, Sosa, Blaze Alexander. It's a pretty ugly position today, so I'm just loading up on Ketel Marte.
Yeah, I forgot Cody Clemens on FanDuel. He's first, second, and third, and then you have the utility spot. You're probably going to want to use him. I guess we'll talk about him at third base because that's where what is he? Is he just third? He's second and third, so I forgot to mention him at second on DraftKings. But I think he slots into third base probably a little bit better, Tim, because like we said, we're probably using either Marte or Stott on DraftKings if you wanted to spend up. So he fits into the third base, which is, I think, to me, a little bit weaker a position. You've got Jose Ramirez against Reagans, Machado against Houck. You're not going to do that. Devers against King. King's still good. Devers can beat him, but they're all expensive. Alec Boehm, certainly. I usually want him against lefties, but I would you could still play him against Munoz in the Miami bullpen. But Clemens hitting sixth. Not the ideal lineup spot, but there's only so many players you can put him ahead of in this Miami lineup, even with them missing some. What are you on him? Is he someone hitting sixth and you're down on Philadelphia? Are you worried about him? Are you worried about the whole team? Just with Philadelphia having by far the highest team total on the slate, what's got you worried about them?
It's just an ownership thing. I think that they're going to get very, very steamed. When I don't think that they deserve to get this much ownership. So really, it's an ownership thing for me in GPP. In cash games, I get it. It's fine to play the best projected team, but guys like Trey Turner is obviously a fantastic play, but he's going to be 30% owned where you have Bobby Witt at 5%. It's things like the pivots like that. You know what I mean? Like I'd much rather play Bobby Witt every single time, So at this third base position, I prefer going to Suarez at 3.3 over Clemens in any format. So you save a little bit of money. You don't lose that much projection, and you're gonna be a little bit lower owned. So I like Suarez over Clemens.
Yeah, Suarez he's up there for one of the more disappointing seasons of players we thought would probably do a little bit better. You've got Corbin Carroll, Rodriguez has finally come around, but Suarez, I think he's hitting below 200, and the power has been not great for what you would sort of expect out of him. Now, maybe he turns it around a little bit here, but you're not concerned about that at all. I mean, the matchup is about as good as you can get for him today.
Yeah, I mean, Suarez is by no means a lock, but I don't think Cody Clemens is either. So if I can save a little bit of money, I'd rather play Suarez.
I get that completely. TJ, what are you doing at the third base?
I really like the Suarez call as well. I'm getting some Bowman, Cast, and Clemens, but the guys I'm getting to here the most are low owned spend ups. So Jose Ramirez, Rafael Devers, my two favorite guys here on the slate at this position.
All right, before we move on to the other positions, let me tell you guys about SimLabs. It's a lineup generation tool from Roto Grinders and Fantasy Labs. It's available for NBA, PGA, and MLB. With a few clicks, you can have hundreds of well-built correlated lineups for whatever contest you're playing. And with that aforementioned Roto Grinders premium subscription, you can get access to that with no extra charge. You just got to be a premium member to get onto the SimLabs. All right, let's go to shortstop. Trey Turner. I want to play Trey Turner, Tim. I do not have Trey Turner money in the lineups I'm making. Are you making a concession to get him into teams somewhere else? Are you forgoing? It's definitely a lot harder on DraftKings than it is on FanDuel, but I don't even have him on FanDuel right now. I can't get that salary with some of the other players I want to play today.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot easier to do it on FanDuel. I'm not playing him, but I think you should on FanDuel. I don't think you have to play him in cash on DK. But I mean, the ownership is through the roof on Turner, and so like getting to Bobby Witt for $200 more in tournaments, I think is just such a great play. I currently have Jeremy Pena in my single entry team at 3,900, but I mean, I think the shortstop position is a lot stronger than people think, and all of this ownership is going to congregate on Turner, and I don't think he's a very good tournament play.
Yeah, he's just so expensive, and I don't have a player. Christian Walker is my highest price bet. He's 5,200 on my DraftKings team. That's really hard for me to get up to unless you play, at first base. You go down to a cheap player like Noel. Noel's also outfielder eligible. You have that John Singleton. I know you mentioned him. Unless you do that, to me, it was very hard to try to find a Trey Turner. As much as I want to play him today, he was sort of a concession I've made personally, at least for the cash teams that I'm playing. TJ, what are you doing with Trey Turner up towards the top of that lineup, the most expensive Philly bat? Is he making a lot of your teams today? What are you doing with Bobby Witt? There's a lot of other good plays in Abrams, Pena, Adames, Sosa. If you want another Philadelphia bat, what are you doing?
Yeah, I am getting to some Turner, but I'll definitely be underweight. Like I'll have half as much as the field, probably, maybe a little bit less than that. I love CJ Abrams today, Bobby Witt, Francisco Lindor are going to be my top 3 guys at the position. I'm getting to a decent amount of Dansby Swanson as well, but outside of Abrams, Lindor, and Witt, it's just guys in stack.
All right, a couple more likes. We'll get another Spidey bomb from TJ, guys. Let's go to the outfield. To me, Tim, it's Phillies, it's Arizona. So I'm looking at Gurriel. I'm looking at Marsh. These are guys that should be reasonable staples. You've got Castellanos is 2,700 on FanDuel if you need another reasonably priced outfielder. You've got Jordan against McGill. When Tucker was playing, Tucker was vastly outproducing Jordan. He sort of turned it around. He's had a nice hot streak going. I don't really care who he's going against. One of the best hitters in the league. He's certainly attainable on FanDuel. Would you rather try to get, would you rather have a Trey Turner or a Jordan? I know they're different positions, different salaries. I wanted to play Jordan, and I could play, yeah. I think you can play like Stott at shortstop on FanDuel, right? So that worked for me. Is it worth downgrading from Jordan if you had to play Trey Turner? To me, I want Jordan.
I want Jordan also. That's one of the other reasons why I'm not playing Turner. So yeah, it's Jordan in cash. It's Brandon Marsh in cash. And then one of these lower priced like 3K guys. Maybe you can get to Gurriel. Maybe you can get to like Randall Grichuk. Possibly Myers at 3-2 for the Astros. One of these like low 3K guys that would round out my outfield and cash games.
Yeah, that sounds very close to what I'm doing today. TJ, did we get those extra likes yet?
We are 2 short.
They're going to come through. They're going to
3 short of Spidey Bomb number 5. So we're not giving them away that easily. They got to work. Or for number 4, I guess. They got to work for it. So at 150 likes, I got one. I got number 4. And then a 5th one at 175 likes as well. There are 400 people watching. That's less than half. We need less than half of the people to hit the like button here. And so I'll be going with him. Somebody said why Alvarez, his plate IQ is horrible. He's hitting like 350 plus ISO over the last 30 days, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Alvarez has turned his season around.
Yeah. And so we now hopefully have killed enough time to be over 150. We're only 10 away from the 5th Spidey Bomb. Good. The 4th one, Jose Ramirez at plus 550 today. You can find him. You kidding me? Jose Ramirez is Spidey Bomb number 4, and I do have a 5th one as well as soon as we get 10 more likes.
So I got I can only bet like $4.69 on it, but if you have Bally's like I do, it's a plus 600 for that one. So I'll see if it's not really the big limited on, I think what is that, a Camby, whatever, they across the whole system. I'm dead on those sites, but whatever, that looks like the best one. The major books would be FanDuel at 540 for Mr. Jose Ramirez,
which still fantastic. It should be like plus 425.
Yeah, they had that in a couple of days ago when it was like super hot in Cleveland. Those were his odds against a bad pitcher. I couldn't believe that they let me get that for Mr. Jose Ramirez that day. But anyway, outfield.
5 likes away from the next one. Let me do it right now. Come on, people. Give me 5 more likes. I want to do the 5th and final Spidey Bomb right now so we can just worry about questions It's another player who is better than plus 500 today. We got lots of really good odds, even in some good weather and some good matchups today across the board. So give me these 5 more likes right now. The final Spidey Bomb is on the same team as Randall Grichuk and honorary knockers today. It is Randall Grichuk and Lourdes Gurriel. I think I said as Grichuk, but I buried the lead. It's Grichuk.
All right, so Grichuk, I got a 560 on FanDuel. If anybody wants to follow into that one, I like that. I like anybody on any Arizona righty today for sure. And you can even take. Well, I don't know if you want any of the lefties. Any Arizona righty to hit a home run today sounds very good. Outfield, TJ. Let's wrap up what we're doing there. Then we'll take some questions. Tournaments at outfield. What are you doing?
Outfield today. Oh, I accidentally ended the screen share a little bit early. But Grichuk is my highest owned guy today. That's why I wanted to get that one out. He is my highest owned outfielder, followed by Yordan Alvarez, and then Lourdes Gurriel and Jazz Chisholm. So 3 Spidey Bombs and Yordan Alvarez. I also bet on Alvarez. They had a homer today. Brandon Marsh and Seiya Suzuki, another Spidey Bomb. The next group of guys for me, followed by Noel at 2K, like we've already talked about. JD Martinez, I really like today. And then some Jake Myers. And I don't mind David Fry at 2% ownership today.
I like.
I also want to shout out Jackson Churio batting 5th. He's been near the bottom of the lineup, but he's been hitting so well. They bumped him up to 5th. And so I think he's interesting against Steele as well. I'm not full stacking Milwaukee at all, but I do have quite a bit of Churio.
And Tim, real quick to you, the home run odds were horrible basically all year. I think they're finally starting to become good, and the weather is starting to cooperate. So I think we're now getting much better home run odds on most players than we were earlier in the season. Do you sort of see that as well?
Yeah, I've noticed that as well. Definitely. The beginning of the season was really, really ugly. So, yeah, it's a lot better now.
Do you had Alonso? Anyone else you were looking at for a home run today, or we got them all?
Bobby Witt plus 500, and normally I don't take somebody in such short odds, but I like Yordan at plus 300.
All right, everyone did.
I got him in my Saskatchewan site at plus 375 today, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah, that's good.
I forgot to check. Did Ohtani hit the home run against Webb last night? He was 520 on FanDuel.
He did not.
All right. Yeah, I think everyone in the world was on that one. But at 520 for Ohtani to hit a home run, yes, you're definitely going to bet that every single time. I don't care who he's against. All right, let's go to some questions. I got YouTube open. I got the Discord in the live stream chat. Get your questions out. Did the Spidey Bombs hit yesterday? Has a question. Oh, no, maybe. I don't know. Hoskins and Gurriel or Berger and Jazz for DraftKings. I'm definitely on number 1. Tim, how about you?
I'm definitely on number 1.
TJ. Why wouldn't you ask me first when it says TJ, Hoskins and Gurriel or Berger and Jazz? The question's directed to me.
I know you like the Marlins. Where do you stand on that one?
It would kind of depend on the rest of my lineup. I think Gurriel is going to be much chalkier than everybody else there. And so Hoskins and Gurriel would be my lean from a raw point standpoint. But if you want the core, I like the correlation of Miami. And if the rest of your lineup's somewhat chalky, I'd probably go there.
Top tournament stacks, TJ, on DraftKings. Try to factor in ownership, what you're doing. Try to put it all together real quick. Give me a couple teams.
Arizona 1 and the Mets as my sneaky stack.
And then what do you still have a lot of Philadelphia, even though they're going to be very chalky today?
Philly, Boston, Washington, Cleveland, Cubs are the teams I have like all a decent amount of, but Arizona and the Mets are my 2 favorites.
All right. Jay Sams in the live stream chat wants to know FanDuel tournament. Tim, I'll throw this to you. Gurriel or JD Martinez both complete a stack for him.
Yeah, go Gurriel.
Yeah, I like Gurriel quite a bit today. I like the home run call. I like him in DFS. That's a really nice play today. Crazy Coop from the live stream chat in Discord wants to know single entry FanDuel. He's got Skeens, Fried, and Tanner Bibee. Anyone else you're using besides them? I think Aaron Nola I would add into that. That seems, I mean, there's going to be one of these top pitchers is going to have a good game today. You're probably going to need it. I'm not going to go bargain hunting on FanDuel today, Tim.
I'm definitely not going to go bargain hunting on FanDuel. No chance. I'm not going to go bargain hunting other than maybe Savali in like a 150 setting on DK. But yeah, it's definitely just Skeens and Freed are my top two, followed by Nola, and then probably Justin Steele would be another guy I like quite a bit.
And has anyone
For what it's
seen?
worth, I don't really care. I'm not changing anything, but we need to mention that there is possibility for delay in Atlanta for Skeens.
Yeah, I was just going to ask. So I see Roth. I'm trying. Let me see if I can figure out how to bring up Kevin Roth's Twitter page from my tweet deck. It's much harder to do this. Like, what do I even? I can't even bring it over on the screen for anybody.
No real changes to my forecast in Atlanta. There's nothing imminent, but a delay from a shower or storm popping up is possible.
So I'm looking at his tweet right now. Oh man, of course it's like blurring out. I don't know. Seems. What would we do with that? We're not going to change anything, TJ, from you personally.
I'm not. No.
If it's a delay, here's what I tell you. It looks reasonably brief. It's not like a 2-hour delay. It's probably not even an hour and a half. Like it's probably not even an hour if a delay was to happen. And I don't think they're going to do anything funky with Skeens unless it's a longer delay. That would basically be what I said. And that's if a delay pops up, if a storm pops up, that's what it is. But no change in Ross forecast. He had it yellow. I'm looking at it on my other screen here. I'm okay with using Skeens or Freed personally right now. A delay I don't see being very long right now. Tyrone Taylor from the Mets. TJ, I know you like the Mets a little bit as a stack today. What's your thoughts on him specifically?
Yeah, I think he's fine to get to, but if you have the $200, I'd rather play Churio.
Irvin, nobody really talked about him much today. Not someone I'm personally on as a pitcher. It is against Tampa Bay, who can be bad sometimes.
I did plug Irvin quite a bit. He's my second highest owned pitcher. So yes, I do like Jake Irvin a lot.
You do. All right, Tim, would you throw him into DK at 7,300?
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he's okay.
Rayos once says Framber's going to be the top pitcher today. I find that very difficult. I know TJ is going to vehemently disagree with that one. He's on the Mets today for us.
Framber Valdez will finish with negative points today.
Negative points. So the exact opposite of that one. All right, let's see if we got anything from YouTube. We only have a couple more minutes. Don't say any more in the live stream chat. The bets I was looking at today, Arizona, the run line, it should be right around even money, maybe a little bit of plus money, depending on your sites. I'm on the screen right here. You can get the Arizona run line at plus 106 on FanDuel, a plus 110 on Fanatics would be your best. That's the squad ride of the day if you want to play along with that. I'm on Westberg tonight for a home run. Tim's on Alonso, Bobby Witt, and then all of the Spidey bombs are just scrolling. You guys hit the like button so much. TJ went bananas. What do you, TJ? What? I want at least 2 of these guys, if not 3, to hit a home run today from the Spidey.
Deal.
Sound good?
I bet on all of them. So and in parlays and round robins. So I would absolutely love that to happen.
All right. I don't see any more questions coming in. We're going to call this a day. I do want to note there's a big MMA today. If you have Roto Grinders Premium, you can check out all the stuff going on for that. There's some shows. I know TJ's in the MMA streets. I don't play DFS MMA. I don't know. Just 2 kids. I don't know how TJ is managing all of this with a small child. I give him a big hat tip to that because it is literally impossible for me to do much of anything other than baseball and sports bet for the most part. Football, of course, once a week or maybe twice a week with Thursday. But yeah, lots of DFS MMA tonight. If you're a premium member, check that out and get in some of the contests. Those contests usually fill early, don't they, TJ? It's like if you come up to a lock, you're probably gonna have to get in those reasonably soon, correct?
For MMA?
Yeah.
Yeah, the high dollar stuff filled like early this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then in the $25 100K to first, there is 200 spots left.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to go read your premium and go get into that immediately if you want to. Other than that, It was fun doing the Saturday show as always with both Tim and TJ. I'm Britt. Thanks to all of you for watching. Click the like button on the way out, and we out you.